What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and while it is not the first Friday of the month, it's the first Saturday. I apologize, a stomach bug has been rampaging through my household, and it's gone through all four of us, so I was just not with it yesterday enough to make a video. I tried, I fell asleep in my chair. But I'm back and I am rested, so I'm ready to hit this. So it's our DMs Guild Roundup review for the month of February 2022. If you're new to the channel and you're unfamiliar how this works, I have an ongoing relationship with the DMs Guild. By the way, if you check the description, you will see two links. One is you'll see a coupon code rather, for 5% off a DMs Guild content created thing of $5 or more. I also, once a month when I do these videos, for about a 1 week or so period, 2 weeks, I have a 10% off a $10 or more purchase. So you can use the 5% all the time or the 10% even given in this time period. And with the relationship I have with the DMs Guild, basically what happens is I am allowed to pick anything I want. There's nothing specific about it. I can pick anything that I want to review. They send it to me free of charge, and then I review it. Now, I'm not beholden to review these things positively. I typically try to pick things I think that would interest me or interest all of you, so that when I do it, I'm not just tearing apart someone's, something they've put their life and their effort into. And thankfully, I think so far I've been pleasantly surprised. I have called some folks out for certain things as I've gone through these reviews, but I do my best to pick things I think that will kind of cover something for everyone, like stuff for players, stuff for DMs, content, adventures, things of that nature. So I have 3 things for you today. And by the way, that's because all of you voted and you said you'd rather have me cover more things more briefly than less things more in depth. So, anyway, if you are a DMs Guild creator, you can feel free to message me. Sometimes I grab stuff that comes from people's suggestions. Other times I just grab stuff that caught my eye. So anyway, let's dive in. We're going to cover 3 different things today. Again, the links for all of these, which are affiliate DMs Guild link, which means I get like 8% of the purchase amount from it, or something like that. And it's a very small percentage, let me tell you, but it does help. Every little bit does help. And again, the coupon code links and information rather are in the comments section down, or it'll be pinned as a comment and in the description. So here is what I have for you today. First up is Hero's Handbook. This is a best Electrum seller. It came out in October of last year. Mark, I cannot pronounce his last name. It vexes me. I've done work with him in the past. It has 8 5-star ratings, and it is this book, which is available on print on demand, that he was nice enough to send to me, which is pretty cool. And it is epic level stuff, right? We're talking level 20 plus. So I thought that would be interesting, and I may be covering some more cool stuff like that from other creators in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. We also have a Home Field Advantage, which only came out on the 21st of January, so just a couple weeks ago. And this is a compendium of Lair actions, which there's a bunch of people you may recognize in the names who helped write this. Best Electrum seller, 5 stars for 5 ratings. And it's amazing. It is just a bunch of Lair actions for pretty much almost everything in the monster manual, including things like NPCs, which is pretty cool. So we're going to go through and grab a couple of those and talk about them. And lastly is Narfell, which is a campaign setting from a good friend of mine, Lex Mandrake, who you may recognize having played Shifter in our Rod of 7 Parts campaign. This came out back in December, and it's 2 5-star ratings, but it's an area of the Forgotten Realms that many people may not be aware of. And I also really like what Lex does with a lot of his stuff, because what you'll see in a lot of things is they're formatted in a certain way, and all the content you see is formatted to look like a 5th edition book, which is good because it makes it look familiar, but just because it looks like other 5th edition books doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. So I really love the creative decisions him and the team made to make this. So let's go ahead and take a look at, you'll see this right here. We'll go look at it. 112-page handbook, has races, class features, backgrounds, equipment, firearms, a ton of awesome stuff. So we're just going to pick and choose. I was scrolling through here. So if we take a look, here it is. Again, 112 pages. It does have bookmarks, so that's free points right off the gate from me. Quill and Cauldron is the company that made this. They're the ones who have done the Elrond's Guide to XYZ, right? Whether that be the Shadowfell or things of that nature. So I think we're going to skip the races because, actually there is one thing I want to show you here if we scroll back up. I do not know why this is being so slow, but they actually went ahead and put in epic lineages and races. So this covers the lineages introduced in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, as well as the races included in Wild Beyond the Witchlight. And reminder, this is for characters that are above level 20, so when they reach level 25, all of these races or lineages would get a little bonus thing. So for the Dampier, it would say Hungry Fangs. You regain all expended uses of your Empowering Bite when you finish a short or long rest. The Hexblood's Ethereal Jaunt. You can use a bonus action on your turn to enter the material plane enter the ethereal plane from the material plane. You return to the material plane at the end of your turn. And then Reborn, they have Dark Vitality. You become immune to poison and disease. For the Fairy, they gave them Enhanced Fairy Magic. You regain all castings of your Fairy Magic trait when you finish a short or long rest. Reminder, that is, I think, proficiency bonus times per long rest. It's now or short rest. And for Harengon, they gave them Jolly Jumping. You can add a D6 rather than a D4 to your saving throws using your Lucky Footwork trait. And you regain all uses of your Rabbit Hop feature when you finish a short or long rest. So if we go ahead and scroll down, we can see the classes, and there are a variety of options here. We can see we have the Artificer, and reminder, because this is on the DM's Guild, you can use the Artificer to make subclasses for them. Barbarian, Bard, even the Blood Hunter, which I thought was an interesting choice, right? Matt Mercer's Blood Hunter, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, and the rest. So looking through here, I thought I would look at the Blood Hunter because a lot of people basically consider the Blood Hunter to be the 14th class. It technically is not, and game balance aside, a lot of people do just consider it to be so because it's been, it's available on D&D Beyond, which seems to be the big one. People are like, oh, it's there, so it has to be real. Whatever, but this one that's interesting here, Order of the Courser, conjure forth Eldritch Pistols to take down quarries from afar. Sounds pretty interesting. And as I was looking through, there's a bunch of interesting other ones here. And they have a complexity rating that shows how complex it is on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 being relatively easy to understand and play, 5 being recommended for experienced players only, which I think is actually something pretty cool. I would love to see this in a first-party thing to give. Now, I know Wizards of the Coast doesn't want to come out and say that one thing they do is more complex than the others because they don't want to scare off new players. I think it's a good idea. Like, let people know, right? This wizard subclass is pretty much nothing to worry about. It's all static bonuses. Like the War Magic one is not too crazy, but compared to, I don't know, the Blade Singer, or I don't know. That's a poor example, but you know what I mean, or the new, any of the newer ones, like the Wild Mount ones or things like that have a little more complexity to how they work and operate. Moon Druid versus, Stars Druid, whatever. The complexity scale would be pretty cool. So looking through, I see a lot that really interest me, but I won't have time to cover all of these. I think we'll go with the Order of the Courser and maybe the Siege Magic Wizard. Give that a try. So let's go ahead to the Order of the Courser. They also did provide optional class features as well, similar to what we got in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So alternate fighting styles, one of them which is gunplay, right? When you roll a 1 or more for your damage dice, roll a 1 on 1 or more damage dice for an attack with a firearm. You can add an additional damage die. Profane Warrior is basically giving you cantrips. Retaliation, when a creature within 5 feet of you attacks a target, you can use your reaction to make a single attack against that attacker. Grim Knowledge, Versatile Hemomancy. I don't want to go through all of these, but options to add to your Blood Hunter, which is pretty cool to see because obviously we wouldn't get them from Wizards of the Coast. So we scroll down, we can see Order of the Courser here. At 3rd level, you're going to get Courser Wits. You gain proficiency with Insight and Investigation. If you're already proficient, you instead gain Expertise with that skill, which means your proficiency bonus is doubled. And then they also have the Right Pistol. You can use your Crimson Right feature without holding a weapon. When you do so, you draw forth a Right Pistol in a free hand with your Hemocraft magic. Your Right Pistol is a martial range weapon with a light property, a normal range of 120, and no long range. And on a hit, it deals right damage equal to 2 rolls of your Hemocraft die, so it will scale as you go and level up. You use your intelligence score for your attack and damage rolls, so that's very similar to a Battlesmith. You don't have disadvantage on attack rolls made with a right pistol while you are within 5 feet of a hostile creature, and a right pistol disappears in an inky flash when the right fades or when you let go of the pistol. So you're not going to be able to hand it off to somebody else. At 7, you gain the Blood Curse, Curse of the Pariah for your Blood Maledict. And it says, Curse of the Pariah, here's a bonus action, target a creature that you can see. For 1 minute, they add creatures at a D4 to ranged attack rolls against that target, provided it is within 60 feet. Amplify, the D4 becomes equal to your Hemocraft die, and then the augment. And it says here, augmenting becomes a thing at 22nd level, right? Remember, this is also for epic classes. So one of the things that's nice is any new subclasses you get, you're going to get all the stuff you would normally get, but they're also going to give you the kind of epic level 20 to 30 options as well. So for the augment here, it says the extra die can be added while the target is within 120 feet rather than 60 feet. Twin pistols at 11. When you use your Crimson Right feature to draw forth a right pistol, you can instead use your Crimson Right feature twice to draw forth 2 pistols, provided you have 2 free hands. You can use a different right for each pistol. I was wondering when dual wielding was coming into play. Brand of Slain Quarries. Your brand of castigation now ensures there is no escape for your foe as your shots magically find their way. Your ranged attacks against a branded target can't be made with disadvantage and ignore half cover, 3/4 cover, and even full cover. That's a little much to me personally, but all right. Quick Draw at 18. Unless you are surprised when you roll initiative, you can use your Crimson Right feature to draw forth a right pistol and make a ranged attack with it before the turn order begins. If you have remaining uses of your Blood Maledict feature, you can use your Blood Curse of the Pariah immediately before you make the attack. I like this. I like this concept, all right? I'm not entirely sure the execution is 100% there, but I like this quick draw, quick reaction time kind of a thing, and it could be whether it's a class feature or a feat. I like this kind of concept. I know it does break traditional initiative, right? Initiative's going to happen. You use quick draw, you can get one shot off before initiative happens. I like that. I could see this being a feat, right? Quick draw or quick reflexes or something like that. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And then lastly, we have a level 27 feature, right, as the Blood Hunter. This is, again, giving you epic level stuff. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a branded creature with a ranged attack roll from a right pistol, roll a d4. Until the start of your next turn, the target subtracts the d4 from its next ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. Again, epic level stuff. All right, so moving on, I think we're going to jump ahead to that Siege Magic Wizard. I thought that was kind of an interesting option, right? So this looks, you can see it right here, Human Siege Mage. All right. At level 2, you gain proficiency with siege equipment and learn the Mending Cantrip, which doesn't count against your wizard spells. And at 2, you get Siege Creation. By standing in deep concentration for 10 minutes, you conjure forth a siege weapon in an unoccupied space, choosing between Ballista, Battering Ram, or Cauldron. You learn to create your other siege weapons as you gain levels. The siege weapon is a creation of magical force that is translucent color of your choice. Using an action on your turn, you can operate it and move it up to 30 feet. You can do so regardless of how many creatures it would normally take to do so, if the creation requires ammunition and is magically filled or loaded. The creation lasts for 1 hour until targeted by a Dispel Magic, Disintegrate, or similar spell, or until you dismiss it as an action. Once you use this feature, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. Okay, so far, on the surface level, I like this, but I'll be honest with you, I have not looked up the stats off the top of my head for a Ballista, a Battering Ram, or a Cauldron in relatively recent times. I know a Ballista does a couple of D6. I'd have to see, because if it's like 3d6 for the Ballista or something like that, I'm not that opposed to this, right? Because you're thinking about your spells. Now, it does require your action to utilize this, so you are limiting what you can do. You're only limiting yourself to bonus action and reactionary spells if you're focusing on the Ballista. It sounds like I think it's a thing that only you can use. It doesn't say, though. You can move it using your action. Oh, you can operate it. You've created. So it does sound like it might be something that only you can use. And if that's the case, then I'm more on board for this as well, because then it's not like you're creating a Ballista and then going and casting spells over here while your party's fighter is firing off Ballista shots like no tomorrow. It can be dispelled, and it's once a long rest, so it's not going to be a superly powerful use thing. Battering Ram, situational, yes, but useful, right, to take down a keep door. And the Cauldron is more for like spilling hot oil and stuff like that. Again, situational, but useful. And you are able to move it. It says up to 30 feet, though. It does not limit where you can go, so in theory, you could move a Cauldron 30 feet up in the air to then have it work. All right, so at 6th level, we get Arcane Bombardier. You learn the Shatter spell. Okay. The spell has a range of 120 feet and affects a 20-foot radius sphere. I like that. Little augment to that. It's a good siege attack. In addition, your spells deal double damage to structures, objects, and creatures made of inorganic materials such as stone, crystal, or metal. Okay, I'm on board. I like that. 10th level, Coordinated Defense. You learn the shield spell if you don't already know it. In addition to its normal use, you can also cast it if an ally or a siege engine that you can see within 30 feet of you is hit by an attack or targeted by the magic missile spell. Okay, that makes sense. I didn't also notice here's the siege. At 6th level, you can create an onager and a scorpion. At 10th, a drake and a mangonel. At 14th, a trebuchet and a siege tower. So we can see at 14th, you also get siege arcana. You add your intelligence modifier to the save DC of any siege engine created with your siege creation feature, and can add a d4 when rolling to determine if there's a mishap or when you roll on a siege engine mishap table, which is something they've added here. 21st level, you get Siege Beleaguer. It only takes you 1 minute to conjure forth a siege engine with your siege creation feature. Mind you, this is level 21, so we're talking epic, so it kind of makes sense. 25, Instant Artillery. The range of your Shatter spell increases to 300 feet, and it affects a 30-foot radius sphere. And 28, Reign of Destruction. The damage size of your siege engines and your Shatter spell increases by 1 die size. So Shatter is typically d8s, it is now d10s. And then we can see we get a dragon and a howitzer at 28. So that's that. We can see a variety of different backgrounds. We have a bunch of different equipment options here as well for new armors and weapons and things of that nature, which is pretty cool. Again, we have rules specifically denoted for firearms, and then again, rules here for siege engines, which will be useful for obviously what we just talked about, showing off the different types of weapons and what they can do, their range, their damage, and so on. All right, we can see a dragon. Where is it? Somewhere in here. It is 8d10 and would cost 80,000 gold to make it. And then there's obviously a lot of things that they have, the mishaps and whatnot. And then a bunch of spells, new feats, and then mythic options as well. Mythic boons for characters past level 30, right? So not only are they giving you options for things to get you from 20 to 30, they also thought ahead to give you stuff for 20 plus. That was a lot of time on this, but there was a lot to cover. So let's jump ahead to home field advantage, which, as I told you, is lair actions for pretty much every creature out there. So we can take a look at a variety of different options here. I'm only going to pick a couple because I don't want to spend too long on these, because you can see there's a ton of options here. So obviously I'm going to pick a Flump, Flump being one of my favorite creatures in all of Dungeons & Dragons. So we're going to see what a Flump lair action would look like. And let's scroll down and pick something else that's interesting. Let's see. What? I also kind of want to pick like a winter wolf, like a wolf creature could be interesting, as well as like T-Rex. All right, let's see. We got our bookmarks, which is also a big benefit here. So let's go pick our Flump, right? We'll scroll down to that. Okay, not much for the Flump here. Flumps seek to avoid combat when they can. Cloister. Five Flumps live in groups called cloisters, and they are led by a particularly wise Flump called an abbot. The abbot is the one who can use the lair actions. A Flump can only become an abbot if it is leading a group of at least a dozen Flumps. If the abbot is killed or incapacitated, they panic for a while and cannot use lair actions. All right, lair actions. On a 20, losing initiative ties, the following things can happen. One creature within 30 feet of the Flump must make a DC 10 Wisdom saving throw, will be charmed by all the Flumps until it takes damage. Whilst charmed in this way, the creature spends its turn trying to move away from any Flumps it can see. If the creature starts its turn in a location where it cannot see any Flumps, it can repeat the saving throw. On a failure, the creature ceases to be charmed and loses all its memories of the cloister. On a success, the creature stops being charmed but retains its memories. The next one is the Flumps use their telepathy to project misleading illusions about their movement. Each Flump in the lair can immediately use its reaction to move up to its speed. Any upside-down Flumps can immediately make another saving throw to right themselves, and until initiative count 20 on the next round, the movement of Flumps does not provoke attacks of opportunity. And lastly, at least 3 Flumps, which are within 30 feet of another, expend their use of their stench spray as a reaction to spit the mucus on a 15-foot square within 30 feet of them. For 1 hour, the area is difficult terrain, and creatures which start its turn in the area or move through it for the first time must make a saving throw against the stench spray. All right, let's move down to a T-Rex, because like a Flump is intelligent, a T-Rex is not. T-Rex, okay. Tavern count, I don't know why I said tavern. Anyway, initiative count, 20 rather. T-Rex can take a lair action to cause one of the following effects. T-Rex's colossal mass and thrashing movement cause seismic tremors through the ground. The ground within 15 feet of the T-Rex becomes difficult terrain until initiative count 20 on the next round. To any creature other than the T-Rex, to any other creature other than the T-Rex. Additionally, each creature in the area other than a T-Rex must make a DC 17 strength save or be knocked prone. The T-Rex can't take this lair action if its speed is 0. Due to the disturbance of battle, a foul stench rises from the pockets of rotting carrion and decay lining the lair. Each creature in the lair other than the T-Rex must make a DC 17 con save or become poisoned until initiative count 20 on the next round. Creatures that don't need to breathe automatically succeed on this saving throw. If a creature fails its saving throw by 5 or more, it spends its action on its next turn retching and reeling. And the commotion of the battle knocks branches down on one creature within 60 feet. The creature must see a DC 17 dex save or take 5d6 bludgeoning damage. And they gave the T-Rex regional effects. Ability checks made to calm, hunt, and track beasts of CR7 or lower are made at disadvantage while within 1 mile of a T-Rex lair. Any spell or creature that magically charms or summons beasts requires the spellcaster to succeed on a DC 14 ability check using their spellcasting ability, or the ability fails. While the T-Rex moves, all immobile liquids within 500 feet of it slightly vibrate from its thundering footsteps. A creature notices the vibrations if it makes a DC 11 perception check. I like that little Jurassic Park action there. And the T-Rex's roar can be heard up to 2 miles from the T-Rex. The roar drowns out all other noise in the area, giving all creatures in the area disadvantage on perception checks that rely on sound. The T-Rex roughly roars once every 30 minutes. The effect ends when the T-Rex dies. I'm going to stop there because I thought that was pretty awesome, because I love that. And let's move on to our last one here, which is Narfell, the campaign setting I was telling you about. So first thing you can probably notice right out the gate, art style, unique, and that's very Lex to see this kind of art style, but it's also formatted in a landscape format for you to view it on like tablets and things like that, as opposed to traditionally portrait style, which I like. And it's also very clean and easy to read, and that's one of the things I like about this. So, and you can also see, there's a little bit here in the foreword, right? We're talking about an area that's very untouched in the world of Forgotten Realms, even in the TSR days. Since those looking for a typical 5e setting may feel a bit lost. There is history and geography as well as mechanics, monsters, and items. However, constructing narrative has been given the spotlight here. Random encounters don't spell out exactly what will happen, but rather are meant to seed a scenario in the DM's hands. Factions don't have a stated boss or tier of play, but provide a twisting plot that alters based on the player's actions. This is not even mentioning the extreme visual departure we made from the average 5e product. I didn't feel the 5e product mold fit the work I wanted to present, so my team and I developed a new one. Give it a try. So that's kind of what I was leading towards, right? We can see here's our moving in, and we have a little bit of history here. We even have timelines through, all the Dale Reckoning timeline all the way up to current, right, 1494. Here we have a map of Narfell showing off the different areas as well. And then again, a variety of different locations. And again, nice little snippets, very clean, very easy to read, right? Major locations. So we've got encounters. This is annotated. You can click to skip ahead. Showing off all these different maps. I mean, again, here we have I like the little dice instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a D6 and they show you the die. I really enjoyed that. It's just a nice little touch that they made. And if we skip ahead, they do have a section for players, right, where they do have a new background, right, a Nar Rider background. Talks about how they, the Nars developed, Narvalus? I don't know how, that's I think what they're called. That's the type of dog that they raised. And you can see, again, there's a D8 option, so it's a little D8 logo to show about, they would ride horses and they use dogs to pull sleds and things of that nature. And then let's see, we also have personality traits, and then we have a demon binder, a whole warlock subclass, because there's a whole bit about demon lords in the world of Narfell. And then again, we can see there's this little table here. Right here is the iron sign is a demon binder feature. You gain a token of interlocking occult symbols wrought from iron. Instilled in this is the essence of a lesser demon lord. You can choose a demon lord or determine it randomly below, and we can see a variety of them. What their specialty is, what layer of the hells they're from. Or the Abyss, right? It's a demon lord, rather. Lair of the Abyss, 17, 551, what the power is, and they all have different abilities for you. We can scroll down, right? We can see, here's our expanded spell list. And then we can see level 6, 10, and 14, all of your different abilities here. And then we have a section for DMs, a whole section on cold exposure rules, which is something that I've seen a lot of people do, and there's, the option of more cold exposure rules and different environmental rules that you have access to, the better, because it gives you options to pick and choose what you like best, right? We have an hourly version. There's a thing here for snow blindness. There's a bunch of magic items in here as well, right? We can see a variety of artifacts and legendary items, but also some minor items, common items as well. Trousers of the Midnight Traveler. Let's read these ones, right? This is a blue stat block. These unsightly and form-fitting trousers are made from perfectly flayed skin of a murdered man's lower body and legs. God, Lex, what are you doing? Inked with fell incantations on the inner surface and treated with an alchemical mixture of tannins and liquid gold, these trousers impart strange abilities upon the wearer. The trousers' abilities recharge each night at midnight. Once per day, the wearer may cast Dance Macabre at 5th level. Oh boy. When the spell is cast, the wearer themselves must dance, making a DC 10 performance check, or performance dexterity check. If the check fails, the undead raised by the spell are hostile to all creatures, including the wearer and their allies. Twice per day, when the wearer fails a saving throw, they may choose to succeed instead, as their good fortune of the trousers twists their fate. The trousers are cursed, which can be revealed by casting Identify or by attuning to them. Attuning to the trousers curses the wearer until they are targeted by the remove curse spell or similar magic. While cursed, the trousers cannot be removed and the wearer cannot sleep. This grants the wearer immunity to sleep-inducing spells, but also prevents them from gaining the benefits of a long rest until the trousers are removed. Interesting, because it specifically states once per day or twice per day, not once per long rest, because the curse prevents you from doing things per a long rest. So that's a little interesting tidbit that they did there. And then we have monsters as well, right? There's monster stat blocks here. Narstallion, we have all sorts of different monstrosities and demons in here as well. Here's the dog I was mentioning to you. And I also very like how simplistic and clean the stat blocks are. We have our little art of the dog. It's a medium beast, a little bit of narrative. And then very quickly, AC, hit points, speed, stat blocks, skills, senses, and then we have a couple of options here, right? Mush, a Narvalu sled can pull up to 360 pounds of weight over snow, traveling at 2 miles an hour. Sled dogs must take a short rest after pulling a sled for an hour, otherwise they gain a level of exhaustion. They have advantage on animal handling checks when dealing with non-hostile beasts, such as reindeer, cattle, or sheep. They are not aggressive or trained for combat. Before combat is about to initiate, a Narvalu dog will unfailingly run and hide for safety, no matter the circumstances. They will return when it's reasonably safe, and they have keen hearing and smell, as you would expect. And I like that their attack is called Nibble, which does D4 -4 piercing damage, which again, proving further that they are not bred for combat, because that maximum their attack will do 0 damage. And then we have a faction adventure generator, which has a variety of different options for rolling to generate opportunities for you there. And then they have faction for the Rotting Man, which is one kind of already put together that you can use. And a couple of different other factions here for adventure seeds and things of that nature. And then lastly, each faction represents a threat. Oh, does this skip ahead? I think these are supposed to be up above because they're from section, it's down at the bottom, but either way. I really like, Lex is very creative, thinks outside of the box for a lot of these different things. Has done a bunch of different things, which you can see here right now, the Shifting City. And I've done a couple of coverage of Lex's stuff in the past, the Joy of Monster Cooking and things of that nature. So anyway, folks, thank you again to the DMs Guild for sponsoring this video and sending this stuff over. The code, if you didn't see it in the description, is FEBNERD, F-E-B NERD, and that's 10% off DMs Guild community created content of $10 or more, and it runs from now through the 14th of February. So that coupon code, again, will get you that. You put that in at checkout. But again, you'll also have the option for the 5% off $5 or more throughout the entire month and, going forward. So if you missed this month, you can always feel free to hold out until the first Friday of the next month when I'll do another video with another coupon. And as a reminder, the coupon that I give you does not need to be used on what I'm covering in this video. It can be used for anything, or it can be used for these if you so choose. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.